another milestone. It's Truss Day. Visual progress central right now. Lots of moving pieces here that still need to get resolved. The steel for all of this area just got delivered yesterday. Behind the scenes there is still a ton of details we're doing. Last week we used the frames up checklist and that's finished, which means we can move on to the roof truss checklist. Previously, it's been a crazy week on site. We've got scaffold though. Yo, it is Wednesday the 29th of October and we have roof trusses being delivered. That's how quick it moves when you go slab, frame, scat, trusses. And it's like boom, 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 and it like all pops up out of nowhere. Well, seemingly nowhere, but this is like months and months and months of work. Last week we used the frames up checklist and that's finished, which means we can move on to the roof truss checklist. That's right, about 5 years ago I created a bunch of checklists for my company to follow the steps of building a house, including on that build up there. I'm pleased to say they're still working. We've made minor tweaks and I'll let you know later how you can get your copy. Let's take a look around what's happening for everything to do with roof trusses. I've got Daniel and Ollie and they've marked out the top level. Ollie's worked out a bit of a plan of how we're going to unload this.
These close ones and put them at this end.
Yeah.
And then we're going to get off the other stack and put it in the middle.
Yeah.
And then when we get down to this bottom level, we'll get those fire ones.
Yeah.
And put them out here.
How you doing?
I'm good.
While we got the crane here, we want to do as much of the heavy lifting as possible and get it as close to the final spots as possible. So the prepare part of the checklist talks about making sure that scaffold is installed, booking in safety nets. We have decided nets are in now before we do the purlins. Nets in over the entire building. The nets are there for the roof face and we want to get the bottoms of the trusses straight, and that's easier to do from underneath sometimes, and then we put the safety nets in. So tick tick, safety nets are done. Truss delivery, so that's a big day. The biggest thing here is to think about where your packs are going before they get delivered. So I dumped a pack here. We walked out 11 spots and we simply did that by counting the trusses in the packs. Real crazy formula. Because we'd already marked the top plate, I knew where the 11th one would go. So then I got the next set of trusses here. It only took a moment to stop and think about where is all this going, and while you've got a big crane, it's easier to get that crane to put everything where you want, including using the crane to orientate the whole pack the right way and stand it up if you can. If it takes you 10 to 15 minutes per truss to awkwardly move them around, but it takes the higher one flick of a switch and it's in the right place, then that's working smarter, not harder. That pile there's all a M2, MG3, and then that correlates to the plan that we've been working off the whole time. Crazy, funny that, right? And then we are going to lay all of that out. Yo, super exciting day on site, another milestone. It's Truss Day. We are like Visual Progress Central right now and it's so good. But behind the scenes there is still a ton of details we're doing. Here's an example. Here, wherever this frame joins this frame, it needs a top plate. And then we also need to put in stud fixings. These are screws that go down through the top plate and into this. Once that's done, we go through and mark out all of the trusses, and you can see that here and all the way along, and Ollie's marked out that roof as well. I've double checked the measures this morning, they're bang on to the plan. That's important as well, get a fresh set of eyes to double check what you're up to, because it's way easier to fix those things with pencil than it is to have to move a whole roof of trusses. Trust me, I've done it before, it's not fun.
Three, 5, 7, 8. Yeah, dog. 4, 4, 70.
One of the things that got drummed into me very early on in my management career was that no matter how good you are, you're never too good for a checklist. And believe it or not, building a home is included on that. I love a checklist because it helps me work out what's coming next. If you love a checklist too, you're in luck. These are available for you. Click the link below. They're updated. We're using them live on this job right now, and you can too. We are going to get nets, they've been ordered. So right now we're going to work safely off ladders, just standing the main ones. There's so many moving things, so much coordination, and so many can't do this until I've done this, but I can do this bit while I wait for this. That's the trick, is overlaying your timeline so that you've always got something to roll onto.
Yeah.
Now we can move on to the next phase of the checklist, the standing. And best part about this, visual progress. But before you rip into it, make sure you know where your starting point is. We call that the setting truss, and for that build up there, that is this bad boy. For two reasons, it's big, and then every single one of those, this is what I love about trusses. It's like when you drive past a vineyard and you see like just all the rows of grapes. If you do that down here, look at all those lines. If you can see from up there, they're all exactly the same, but they're all spaced out off this. So your setting truss got to be bang on, and then you brace it up at both ends and in the middle, and once that's locked in, that's your true point. So you're starting to see a theme, whether it's a slab or frames or a trusses. You pick a starting point that is your reference for everything else. And then if you do that right, everything else clicks into place. So we stood the starting truss and then we peel them out. And we do that because this is locked in and braced. We can now plumb every other truss off this. If we had hips, we don't have any on this roof because I like nice clean lines. Then you'd work on those next. And the last thing, whether it's a hip or a ridge, is that you use your eyeball to measure it up, because you will see real quickly if there's a banana. It's crazy how your eyes can pick up little movements, especially once you start looking for them. So always eye it up. Make sure there's no bananas. No one wants a wavy roof.
We're dropping new videos every Saturday at 5 o'clock, showing the real journey of building our dream home right here in New Zealand. If you don't want to miss another slab pour, another framing session, or a classic smoko yarn, hit subscribe and you'll be right there with us.
down there. It's flush with that edge, so that's cool. That's what I wanted.
Yo, it's the end of the month, Friday the 31st of October. Or you'll also know that as Halloween, or Halloween. I always get told off for saying it wrong.
Wrong.
We are making truss progress, and Ollie and Quinny are making awesome progress on this spine wall.
Block at the other end, and then we go through another one. So we'll just run a string line right to the other end. It's a feature wall of the whole house, so we've got to get it dead straight. So we're just working that out now.
In an ideal world, you would do all of the wall framing and then all of the roof framing, but we know that it never goes to plan. There's lots of moving pieces here that still need to get resolved. The steel for all of this area just got delivered yesterday. The way I operate is that if that area is like fixed off, ready to go, and the boys are waiting on something here, they can move to the next phase here, and that's again the beauty of a split level is you can like break it into mini boxes. Often with this framing phase, it's not the standing or putting it in place that takes ages. That bit is like epic and fun and fast. It's the fixing and the brackets and the tying it all together, and that takes a week and you don't even see that. That's an apprentice toiling away, putting on literally 1,000 bracket nails. Now that the fun visual progress part of standing trusses is out of the way, the dumb bracket part comes. And the thing you'll learn about building, whether you're doing your own little build or you're an apprentice, is that there is shitloads of brackets. And that's the boring part, but it's important, and whatever we're building, we want to make sure it stands the test of time, and it's all tied together so that it doesn't blow away in the wind or break into an earthquake. Don't worry, someone way smarter than me has worked out all the hardware, and that's all predetermined at the consent phase. You'll find that in your consent documents. Your job on site is to first up know what hardware you're using, where it's going, then order all of that. We're talking like hundreds of nail plates and multi-grips, and all those multi-grips need hundreds of nails, or you can use tech screws. Add all of those quantities up, get all of that in a box, and then basically just rip into it, put them up. And that is a great example of a perfect job for an apprentice. Life for an apprentice, eh?
Yeah,
brackets for
that's
Africa.
the way. Yeah.
As well as on the roof, we've got them on the frames and we've got them on the bottom plate. We have bolts and brackets and hardware for Africa. Once we've done that, we can move into purlins, roof screws, and then we're ready for a roof. A little bit windy for a roof today, so I'm gonna tick off my checklist and head back to the office. That is one beautiful roof. I'm always thinking about the next thing. So as soon as I see this, I'm like, oh, got to talk to the metal guys. And flashing details and skylights and all of that. So in my mind already I can see the metal on there. And that's why I'm like, let's get the purlins on. Let's get to the next phase. I think that's a key as well. Being able to visualize what's coming next helps you do this part really well. Yo, it's Monday the 10th of November. Oh, it's getting close to Christmas. Last week we made some massive progress. We got the steel portals in and they needed to get welded to some plates that we set at foundation phase. So they're in now, which is epic because it picture frames the two ends of the building. We've done all of the roof framing over this side. Once the beams are in place here, we can then get the rafters in on this part of the roof. Yo, sign up squad, another week, another video. I hope you enjoyed learning a little bit more about roof trusses. The crazy thing about building is that you see the bulk of the structure, but what you don't see is the hours and hours and hours of work that goes in down at the minute level, the brackets, the planning, the organizing. And that's not just true for building a house, that's true for so many things, from your career to any big dream you're taking on. And so the way that I break it down is that I use milestones as motivation to do all the dumb little things, and I make sure all the dumb little things are out of the way before the next milestone, because if you leave those dumb little things, they just get harder and harder and more annoying. I know that it's real easy to just chase to that next big milestone. Dot your I's, cross your T's, get to that milestone knowing that whether it's a roof truss or whether it's your frames or your roof or anything else you're working on, that you have covered all the details. As always, thanks so much for watching. What I want you to do is comment below any of your roofing questions. That's the next phase we're moving into. Anything from purlins to sheets to wraps, chuck your questions below. Thanks.